Ji-hoon's hands were covered in grease when the alarm started screaming. He dropped his wrench and looked up at the massive power relay he'd been fixing for the past 6 hours. The metal tower hummed above him, half repaired, still broken. The alarm meant something bad, very bad. "Ji-hoon, get to the command center now!" The voice crackled through his radio. It was Tae-jin, the colony administrator. He never sounded scared. Today, he sounded terrified. Ji-hoon ran. His boots hit the metal walkway hard as he sprinted through the colony's central dome. Nexus 7 wasn't a big place. Only 4,000 people lived here, right at the edge of known space. They grew food, mined minerals, and tried to build a peaceful life. 15 of those people were human. The rest were aliens from a dozen different species, all part of the Gathering Alliance. The command center doors slid open. Inside, chaos. Screens flashed red. Aliens shouted in different languages. Tae-jin stood in the middle, his face pale as death. "What's happening?" Ji-hoon asked. Tae-jin pointed at the main screen. "Ravagers! A whole fleet of them! Coming straight for us!" Ji-hoon felt his stomach drop. Everyone in the galaxy knew about Ravagers. They were old, ancient even. Nobody knew where they came from or what they wanted. They just appeared, destroyed everything, and vanished. Planets, stations, colonies. Nothing survived when Ravagers came. "How long?" Ji-hoon asked. 18 hours, Tae-jin said quietly. Yuna rushed in next, still wearing her medical uniform. She was the colony's doctor, one of the few humans with real military training. "I heard. What's our defense status?" A tall alien with blue skin and too many arms spoke up. His name was something Ji-hoon couldn't pronounce, so everyone called him Blue. "Shields at 30%. The solar flare last week destroyed half our defensive grid. We have mining lasers, but they're not weapons. We have 6 cargo ships. No combat vessels." "What about the Alliance military?" Yuna asked. "They have to send help." Blue touched his console. An alien face appeared on the screen, covered in scales with 3 eyes. The Alliance commander. "Nexus 7, we received your distress call. Our nearest battle fleet is 6 days away. I'm sorry. We cannot reach you in time." Tae-jin leaned forward. "What about Earth's fleet? They have ships in this sector." The alien commander's middle eye blinked slowly. "Human space is very far from your position. Their military is also unproven. They have never fought Ravagers. I do not believe they would risk their ships." "But they have to try!" Yuna shouted. "I am sorry," the commander repeated. "Evacuate who you can. The Alliance will remember your sacrifice." The screen went dark. Silence filled the command center. Then someone started crying. One of the alien colonists, a mother holding her child. More joined in, the sound of hopelessness. Ji-hoon looked at Tae-jin. "The shield grid. If I can fix it." "There's not enough time," Tae-jin said, "and not enough power even if you did." "Then I'll try anyway," Ji-hoon said. He turned to leave. "Wait." Yuna grabbed his arm. "I'm coming with you. We all are." She gestured to the other humans in the room. There were 5 of them there, including Hana, a young woman who had been learning engineering from Ji-hoon. They worked through the day like machines. Ji-hoon climbed the towers, reconnected broken cables, replaced fried circuits. Hana handed him tools, her hands shaking but steady enough. Yuna organized the medical bay, preparing for wounded even though she knew it was useless. Tae-jin tried to get the evacuation ships ready, but the first one that launched got 50 kilometers up before Ravager scouts shot it down. They were already here, surrounding the colony, watching, waiting. Night came. The colony's sun set behind the mountains, painting the sky red and orange. Ji-hoon sat on top of the shield tower, exhausted. Hana climbed up to join him. "Is it going to work?" she asked. "No," Ji-hoon said honestly. Even if I fix everything, we have maybe 10% shield strength. That won't stop them. Hana looked at the stars appearing overhead. Do you think Earth knows? Do you think they got the message? Ji-hoon thought about home. He hadn't been to Earth in 5 years. His family was there, his friends, his whole life before the colony. Even if they know, they can't get here. The math doesn't work. Fastest human ships need 4 days minimum. The Alliance commander said our military was unproven, Hana said quietly, like we're not real soldiers. We're not, Ji-hoon said. Earth has been at peace for 60 years. We build ships, explore planets, make friends. We've never fought a real war. Maybe that's good, Hana said. Maybe. Ji-hoon stood up, looking at the darkening sky. Somewhere up there, the Ravagers were coming closer. My grandfather used to tell me stories about old Earth. Before the Alliance, he said humanity had one rule that we never broke. What rule? We don't leave our people behind, Ji-hoon said. Ever. No matter what. Hana smiled sadly. That's a good rule. They climbed down as the stars grew brighter. Ji-hoon went back to work, knowing it wouldn't matter. Across the colony, people were saying goodbye. The aliens prayed to their gods. The humans gathered in the small cafeteria, sharing stories and memories. Nobody slept. At midnight, Subin, the communications officer, ran into the workspace. Ji-hoon, the array is still working. Should I keep broadcasting? Yes, Ji-hoon said. Send our position, our status, everything. Send it to everyone. Even if nobody's listening? Especially if nobody's listening, Ji-hoon said. Let the galaxy know we were here. Let them know we fought. Subin nodded and ran back to her station. The signal went out into the void, a tiny voice screaming into infinite darkness. Help us, please, anyone. Hour 13 came. The Ravager fleet appeared on sensors. More than 100 ships, massive and terrible. They moved like a swarm, blocking out the stars. Hour 16. Ji-hoon finished the last connection. The shields flickered to life at 12% power. Better than nothing. Barely. Hour 17. Minho, the colony's security officer, handed out whatever weapons they had. Mining lasers, construction tools. Anything that could hurt. They all knew it was useless, but humans needed to hold something. Ji-hoon found Hana in the command center, staring at the screen showing the Ravager fleet. Someone will come, he told her, trying to sound confident. That's what humans do. We come for our own. Hana looked at him with tears in her eyes. You don't believe that? No, Ji-hoon admitted, but I want to. Hour 18 arrived. The sky above Nexus 7 turned black as the Ravager fleet eclipsed their sun. Every screen, every sensor, every hope died in that shadow. The end was here, and they were alone. The first blast hit the eastern dome at exactly 0600 hours. Minho felt the explosion through the floor before he heard it. He was in the armory, such as it was, handing out the last of the mining equipment to colonists who had never held a weapon in their lives. East Dome is breached, someone screamed over the radio. They're coming through! Minho grabbed his rifle, an old hunting weapon that would probably do nothing against Ravager armor, and ran. Behind him, 20 colonists followed. Humans, aliens, all mixed together, all terrified, all moving forward anyway. The Eastern Dome was chaos. A massive hole had been torn through the reinforced metal, and through it poured Ravager soldiers. They were horrible to look at. Too many legs, too many claws, armor that seemed to grow from their bodies. They made no sound except the clicking of their feet on metal. Fire! Minho shouted. The mining lasers lit up the darkness. Some Ravagers fell. Most didn't. They moved fast, impossibly fast. Minho saw a blue-skinned alien get torn apart in seconds. Then a human colonist, a farmer named Daiho who had 3 kids, gone in a spray of red. Fall back, Minho ordered. Fighting retreat! Go! 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 They ran backward, firing as they went. The colony's corridors were narrow, which helped. The Ravagers couldn't swarm them all at once, but there were so many. For every one they killed, 5 more appeared. In the command center, Subin watched her screens die one by one. Each camera that went dark meant another section of the colony lost. She kept broadcasting anyway, her fingers flying over the keyboard. "This is Nexus 7 colony. We are under attack by Ravager forces. If anyone can hear this, we need help. Please. We have civilians here, children. Please respond." Only static answered. Always static. Taejin burst into the command center, his face covered in dust and blood. Not his blood. He'd been helping evacuate the residential sections. "How many made it to the central habitat?" Subin asked. "Maybe 2,000, Taejin said. "The rest?" He didn't finish. Didn't need to. "Any response to the distress call?" "No," Subin said. Her voice cracked. "Nobody's coming." Taejin sat down heavily. He pulled up the tactical map. Red markers showed Ravager positions. They were everywhere now, surrounding the central habitat where the survivors had gathered. Blue markers showed the defense positions. So few blue markers. "We have maybe an hour," Taejin said quietly. Across the colony, Yuna worked in the medical bay that wasn't really a medical bay anymore. Just the cafeteria with tables turned into operating surfaces. The wounded kept coming. She did what she could, which wasn't much. Her supplies were almost gone. Her hands were shaking from exhaustion. A young alien girl was brought in, missing an arm. Yuna started working, trying to stop the bleeding. The girl's mother held her other hand, making soft sounds in a language Yuna didn't understand. It didn't matter. Grief sounded the same in every language. "Doctor?" Another human, a man named Junho, carried in a wounded defender. "It's Daiho. He's hurt bad." Yuna looked. Bad didn't cover it. She met Junho's eyes and shook her head slightly. Junho understood. He sat down next to Daiho, held his hand, and started talking about nothing. About Earth, about home, about things that didn't matter and everything that did. Daiho died quietly a few minutes later. Junho stayed there holding a dead man's hand, crying. In the defensive line, Minho's group had been pushed back to the main corridor leading to the central habitat. They'd set up barricades made of furniture, equipment, anything heavy. It wouldn't hold long. Hana was there, holding a cutting torch like a weapon. She'd refused to evacuate with the civilians. "I'm an engineer," she'd said. "Engineers fix things. If I can't fix this, I can at least fight." The Ravagers came again, wave after wave. The defenders fired until their weapons overheated, then fought with tools and bare hands when the weapons died. Minho saw a 4-armed alien grab a Ravager and crush it against the wall, then get overwhelmed by 3 more. He saw an elderly human woman throw acid from a cleaning supply at Ravager faces, blinding them before she was cut down. "We can't hold!" someone shouted. "We don't have to hold," Minho shouted back. "We just have to slow them down. Every minute we buy is another minute for the people behind us." It was a lie, and everyone knew it. There was no escape behind them, just a bigger room to die in. Ji-hoon wasn't with the defenders. He was in the shield generator room deep below the central habitat. The shields were failing fast under the Ravager bombardment, but maybe, just maybe, he could overload them. Create a pulse that would knock out the Ravager ship's sensors for a few seconds. It wouldn't save anyone, but it might hurt them. It might make the Ravagers pay a price. His hands worked automatically, rewiring systems, bypassing safety protocols. He'd seen his family on Earth die from an accident with an overloaded reactor. He knew exactly how to make this one explode. "Ji-hoon," Subin's voice on his radio. "Are you there?" "I'm here." "I'm losing the communications array," she said. "The Ravagers are targeting it specifically. I have maybe 2 minutes before it's gone." "Then broadcast for 2 more minutes," Ji-hoon said. "To who?" Subin asked. And her voice broke completely. "Nobody's coming, Ji-hoon. We're alone. We're all alone." Ji-hoon stopped working. He looked at his hands, at the wires, at the machines that couldn't save them. "My grandfather fought in the last war Earth had before joining the Alliance," he said quietly. "He told me that humans have a saying, 'No one left behind.' It means we come for each other, always, no matter what." "Your grandfather's war was 60 years ago," Subin said. "Earth has changed. The Alliance changed us. We're peaceful now. We don't know how to fight anymore." "Maybe," Ji-hoon said. "But I have to believe we still remember how to care." Subin was quiet for a moment. Then, "I'll keep broadcasting until the very end. Thank you." The communications array exploded 3 minutes later. Subin managed to run before it collapsed, but she couldn't run far. A piece of debris caught her leg, pinned her down. She lay there in the darkness, bleeding, reaching for her radio with shaking hands. "This is Nexus 7. If anyone can hear..." She coughed, tasted blood. "Tell Earth, we believed someone would come." The radio died. The lights died. Subin closed her eyes. At the main barricade, Minho's ammunition ran out. He threw the useless rifle at a Ravager and pulled out a knife. Just a kitchen knife, but it was sharp. "Everyone behind the second line," he ordered. "Fall back now." Hana grabbed his arm. "Minho, look!" He looked at his tactical display. The Ravagers had stopped advancing. They were just standing there, in the corridors, watching, waiting. "What are they doing?" Hana asked. Minho understood. "They're not in a hurry anymore. They know we can't escape. They're going to take their time." In the central habitat, 2,000 survivors huddled together. Humans and aliens, enemies and friends, all the same now. All dying together. Children cried. Adults tried to comfort them with lies about rescue that everyone knew weren't true. Taijin stood on a raised platform looking at them all. He should say something. Leaders were supposed to give speeches, inspire hope. But what hope was there? Yuna climbed up next to him. Her medical coat was covered in blood. "Say something true," she told him quietly. Taijin activated the speaker system. His voice echoed through the habitat. "I don't have good news," he said. "I don't have hope to give you. The Ravagers are at our doors. No help is coming." He paused, looking at all the faces. "But you are not alone. We are here together. And if these are our last moments, then let them be moments where we stood together. Where we didn't give up. Where we showed the universe that Nexus 7 mattered." It wasn't much, but people nodded. Some stood straighter. It was something. Ji-hoon finished his work on the generator. The overload was ready. One button and the whole thing would go critical, probably take out half the colony and any Ravagers close enough. He climbed back up to the central habitat, found Hana at the barricade, sat down next to her. "It's ready?" she asked. "Yes." "Will it hurt them?" "Maybe," Ji-hoon said. "Probably not enough." Hana leaned against his shoulder. She was shaking. "I wanted to see Earth someday. My parents were born there. They used to tell me about rain. Real rain. Not recycled water. I wanted to feel that." "You would have loved it," Ji-hoon said softly. The Ravagers began moving again. Slow, deliberate, coming for the last survivors. In the darkness above the colony, Subin's final transmission continued to broadcast on automatic repeat, growing weaker as the power faded. "Help us. Please. Anyone." The words vanished into empty space, unheard, unanswered. The end had come at last. 3 days earlier, 72 hours before the Ravagers reached Nexus 7, Admiral Dong-yun stood on the bridge of the battleship Indomitable and read the distress call for the 5th time. "Nexus 7 colony under imminent Ravager attack. Defensive capabilities minimal. Requesting immediate assistance. 15 human citizens among 4,000 colonists. Please respond. His tactical officer, a young woman named Su-Jin, stood beside him. Alliance High Command has already responded, sir. Their nearest fleet is 6 days out. They've written off the colony. What about us? Dong-Yun asked. What's our distance? Su-Jin pulled up the navigation data. Her face went pale. 4 days at maximum conventional drive. We can't make it either, sir. Dong-Yun looked at the star map. Nexus 7 was a tiny dot on the edge of everything. 4,000 people about to die. 15 of them human. 15 of his people. What about the experimental drives? He asked quietly. The bridge went silent. Everyone turned to look at him. Su-Jin's eyes went wide. Sir, those drives aren't tested. Engineering says they might work, but the stress on the hull, we could lose ships. We could lose everything. How fast could we get there? Dong-Yun asked. A nervous engineer pulled up calculations. His hands shook as he worked. If we push the drives to absolute maximum, bypass every safety protocol. 17 hours, maybe 16 if we're lucky. And the risks? 40% chance of catastrophic drive failure per ship, the engineer said. The ships that fail will be torn apart. There's also a risk the entire fleet could create a resonance cascade that destroys... I didn't ask for a full report, Dong-Yun interrupted. I asked about the risks. You told me. 40% chance we lose ships. He looked around the bridge. What's the certainty if we don't go? Nobody answered. They all knew. 100% chance the colony died. Dong-Yun activated the fleet-wide communication. 40 human warships hung in space around him. The 3rd Expeditionary Force. Not the biggest fleet Earth had, but the closest to Nexus 7. All ships, this is Admiral Dong-Yun. You've all seen the distress call from Nexus 7. You know the math. We can't get there in time using conventional drives. He paused. I'm ordering a maximum velocity jump using the experimental fold drives. Engineering estimates a 40% chance of ship loss. I won't lie to you, some of us might not make it. He looked at the faces of his crew. Young faces, most of them. Earth had been at peace for so long. These sailors had never seen real combat. They'd trained, practiced, prepared for a war that never came. Until now. But here's what I know, Dong-Yun continued. 15 humans are dying on that colony. 4,000 people are dying. The Alliance has given up on them. I won't. Humanity doesn't abandon its own. We never have, and I won't start today. He straightened. Any ship that wants to withdraw from this mission, do so now. No judgment, no consequences. This is voluntary. He waited, watched his sensors, counted heartbeats. Not a single ship moved. Su-Jin smiled. I guess we're all going, sir. Then prepare for fold space jump, Dong-Yun said, and may God have mercy on us. The engineer, a man named Kyung-Soo, ran to the engine room. The fold drives were beautiful and terrible things. Humanity had been developing them in secret for 20 years, ever since Earth joined the Alliance and saw how slow everyone else's technology was. The Alliance believed in peace, in safety, in careful progress. Earth believed in being ready for anything. Kyung-Soo activated the drives. The Indomitable shuddered. Reality bent. Space folded like paper. And they jumped forward at speeds that shouldn't be possible. One ship, the frigate Dauntless, exploded immediately. Its drive couldn't handle the stress. 37 ships remained. They jumped again and again. Each jump brought screaming stress warnings, hull breaches, systems failing. The ship, Valiant, came apart at the seams, her crew evacuating in pods seconds before she disintegrated. 36 ships. Kyung-Soo watched his instruments with sweat running down his face. The drives were operating at 300% capacity. They were literally tearing holes in space-time. His hands danced over controls, making adjustments every second. keeping the impossible possible. "How much longer?" Dong-yun asked over the intercom. 12 more hours if we maintain this pace," Kyung-soo said. "But sir, the drives are degrading. We might not be combat ready when we arrive." "We'll be ready enough," Dong-yun said. Another jump, the destroyer, Fierce, lost her port drive and spun out of formation, unable to continue. 35 ships. On the bridge, Sujin coordinated the fleet movements. Every ship had to jump in perfect synchronization or they'd be scattered across half the galaxy. One wrong calculation and they'd arrive at different times, making them useless. She'd been training for this her whole career without knowing it. "All ships reporting green," she said. "Next jump in 30 seconds. A young officer approached Dong-yun nervously. "Sir, I have to ask, what if we get there and the colony is already gone?" Dong-yun looked at him. "Then we avenge them. Either way, we send a message. Attack humans anywhere, and we will find you." The jumps continued. The fleet pushed forward through space at impossible speeds, leaving trails of distorted reality behind them. One more ship, the cruiser Resolute, lost containment and had to drop out. 34 ships. Sujin pulled up what intelligence they had on Ravagers. It wasn't much. Ancient species, ruthless, powerful. Estimated fleet size for a colony raid, 80 to 100 ships. The math was bad. Really bad. "We're going to be outnumbered at least 2 to 1, she told Dong-yun quietly. "I know. The Ravagers have better shields, better weapons, and they've been fighting for thousands of years. We've been at peace for 60. "I know that too." "Then why are we doing this?" Sujin asked. Not challenging, just asking. Dong-yun pulled up an image on his screen, a colony roster. 4,000 names. He highlighted 15. "These are the humans on Nexus 7. Ji-hun Park, engineer. Yuna Kim, doctor. Tae-jin Lee, administrator." He read every name. "They went out to the edge of nowhere to build something, to help build a better galaxy. They didn't ask for this. They don't deserve this." He looked at Sujin. "And they're ours. That's why." Hour 16 arrived. The fleet was battered, exhausted, running on failing systems and pure will. 34 ships remained out of the original 40, but they were almost there. Kyung-soo's voice crackled over the intercom. "Sir, preparing final jump. This is it. We'll arrive directly above Nexus 7. "All ships," Dong-yun broadcast. "Battle stations. Prepare for immediate combat. We're going in hot." Every sailor on every ship moved to position. Weapons charged. Shields activated, weak as they were after the brutal journey. Hyun-woo and his drop troopers loaded into breach pods, ready to deploy. In the pilot bay, Nari climbed into her fighter. Her squadron, the Seraphs, were the best Earth had. Fast, agile, deadly. Their ships were painted with angel wings, a reminder of what they were meant to be. Protectors, guardians, angels of war. "Seraph squadron ready," she reported. "Let's show them what humans can do." The final jump. Reality screamed. Space twisted. The 34 remaining ships of Earth's 3rd Expeditionary Force punched through into normal space directly above Nexus 7. The colony was below them, surrounded by a massive Ravager fleet, bigger than expected, way bigger. Sujin counted quickly. "Sir, sensors show 120 Ravager warships," nearly 4 to 1 odds. The bridge crew looked at each other. Some faces showed fear, some showed determination. All of them held their positions. Dong-yun looked at his fleet. 34 ships against 120. 34 human ships that shouldn't even be here, that had traveled faster than anyone thought possible, that had lost sisters and brothers just getting here. On the colony below, he knew people were dying. 15 humans and thousands of aliens, thinking nobody cared enough to try. Time to prove them wrong. "All ships," Dong-yun said calmly, "take defensive formation around the colony. Target the Ravager fleet. Prepare to engage. The Ravagers must have seen them on sensors. Must have been confused. 34 small ships against their massive fleet? It was suicide. But they didn't know what they were facing. They didn't know about humanity's history, about Earth's wars, about the humans who fought at Thermopylae and Bastonia and Outpost Harry. They didn't know that humanity had spent 60 years building weapons in secret, preparing for threats the peaceful alliance refused to acknowledge. They didn't know that they had made a terrible mistake. Dongyun activated every communication frequency, broadcasting to the colony, to the Ravagers, to anyone listening. This is Admiral Dongyun of the Earth Defense Force. Humanity does not abandon its people. You want this colony? His voice was ice and iron. You go through us first. The human fleet opened fire, and the sky above Nexus 7 burned with fury. On Nexus 7, Jai-Hoon heard the explosions in the sky before he understood what they meant. He looked up through the shattered dome, and his heart stopped. The stars were fighting. Brilliant flashes of light, dozens of them, hundreds. Ships engaged in combat so far above that they looked like fireflies. But these weren't Ravager ships destroying evacuation shuttles. These were battles. Real battles. Someone came, Hana whispered beside him. Someone actually came. Tajin's voice cracked over the colony-wide speaker. All defenders, all survivors, we have reinforcements. Ships in orbit engaging the Ravagers. Hold the line. The Ravagers inside the colony seemed to pause, confused. Then they received orders and pushed forward harder, more desperate. They wanted to finish this before what? Before whoever was up there won? Minho rallied his fighters. You heard the man. Someone's fighting for us. We hold. We hold until they finish. In orbit, the battle was hell. Dongyun watched his tactical display as the Ravager fleet maneuvered to engage. 120 ships against his 34. The math was brutal, but math didn't account for human determination. All ships, execute pattern Delta, he ordered. Don't fight fair. Fight to win. The human fleet scattered into 3 groups, using tactics the Alliance would call too aggressive and unnecessarily risky. That's because the Alliance fought defensive wars. Humanity had learned offense in the bloodiest schools imaginable. Sujin commanded the frigate group, 12 fast ships that darted between the Ravager capital ships like wolves. They didn't try to win one-on-one fights. They hit weak points, destroyed weapon systems, and ran before the Ravagers could respond. It was fighting dirty. It worked. Targeting Ravager cruiser's shield generator, Sujin called. All frigates, focus fire. 12 ships fired as one. The Ravager shield collapsed. Before it could regenerate, human torpedoes slammed into the exposed hull. The cruiser broke apart, one down, 119 to go. Nari launched from the Indomitable with her Seraph squadron. 20 fighters, painted with wings, diving into the chaos. The Alliance said fighters were obsolete against capital ships. Humanity disagreed. Seraph squadron, on me! Nari shouted. Target the Ravager destroyers! Get inside their firing arc! The fighters screamed forward at speeds that would kill most alien pilots. Humans could handle more G-forces, and right now, that mattered. They flew patterns that seemed suicidal, weaving between enemy ships, under their shields, inside their weapon range. Nari locked onto a Ravager destroyer's engine section. She fired her entire payload and pulled up hard, the G-forces crushing her into her seat. Behind her, the destroyer's reactor went critical, 2 down. But the Ravagers were learning. They adapted fast. A wave of their own fighters launched, sleek and deadly. The dogfight began. Nari twisted through space, her fighter dancing. A Ravager locked onto her tail. She couldn't shake it. The warning alarm screamed. She pulled a maneuver her instructor said was impossible. A full reversal flip at combat speed. The G-forces almost knocked her out. Almost. The Ravager shot past her. She fired. 3 down. In the engine room of the Indomitable, Kyung-soo fought his own battle against physics. The drives were failing after the brutal journey. Power was fluctuating. Systems were overheating. "I need more power to the forward shields," Dong-yun called down. "Sir, if I give you more power, the engines will melt." "Then let them melt after we win." Kyung-soo rerouted everything. Life support to minimum, gravity generators to half, every spare watt of power to weapons and shields. The ship was falling apart around him, but it would hold. It had to hold. A massive explosion rocked the ship. Ravagers had targeted the Indomitable specifically, recognizing it as the flagship. Smart. 3 Ravager battleships focused fire on Dong-yun's position. "Shields at 20%, someone shouted. "Reroute power from—" "There is no more power." Dong-yun looked at his tactical display. The Indomitable was the strongest ship in the fleet. If it fell, the whole formation would collapse. They'd lose. The colony would die. Unacceptable. "Soo-jin," he said calmly, "I need someone to do something brave and stupid." On her frigate, Soo-jin smiled grimly. She knew what he meant before he said it. "I'm on it, sir." She turned her ship, the Dancing Blade, toward the 3 Ravager battleships hammering the Indomitable. Her crew looked at her like she was insane. She probably was. "All crew," she said over the intercom, "evacuate to escape pods. You have 30 seconds. Her tactical officer, a man named Bora, shook his head. "Not leaving you, Captain." "That's an order?" "Then court-martial me later," Bora said. The rest of the bridge crew nodded agreement. Soo-jin felt tears in her eyes but pushed them down. No time. "Then strap in. This is going to hurt." She aimed her ship at the largest Ravager battleship and pushed the engines to maximum. Past maximum. The ship accelerated faster than it was designed to, faster than the safety systems allowed. Kyung-soo would be proud. She was breaking every rule in the book. The Ravagers saw her coming. They tried to shoot her down. But a frigate was small, fast, and Soo-jin was the best pilot in the fleet. She weaved through their fire, closing the distance. "Captain, we're at ramming speed," Bora shouted. "I know! Reactor overload, all systems!" "But that'll do it!" The reactor began to go critical. Soo-jin gave her crew 10 seconds. "Pods away! Now, everyone out!" They ran. Some made it, some didn't. Bora stayed on the bridge with her to the very end. "It's been an honor, Captain," he said. "Honor's all ours," Soo-jin said. She looked at the Ravager battleship growing larger in her view screen. "For Nexus 7. The Dancing Blade hit the Ravager battleship at a significant fraction of light speed. The reactor detonated on impact. The explosion was like a new sun being born. When the light faded, the Ravager battleship was gone. So were 2 others caught in the blast. So was the Dancing Blade. On the Indomitable, Dong-yun watched it happen. His face was stone, but inside he screamed. He'd known Soo-jin for 10 years. She'd been at his daughter's birthday party. Now she was gone. "All ships," he said, his voice cold as ice. "Captain Soo-jin bought us time. Don't waste it. Push forward." The human fleet surged, every ship fighting with renewed fury, for Soo-jin, for the colony, for each other. Hyun-woo and his drop troopers had been waiting in their breach pods. Now finally, their moment came. "All units, we're boarding the Ravager command ship," Hyun-woo said. "Our job is to take their central coordination offline. That means fighting through the ship room by room. Everyone clear?" 40 troopers in powered armor, the best Earth had. They'd trained for years for this. Boarding actions in 0G, combat in hostile environments, fighting aliens twice their size. The pods launched. They flew through the battle, tiny metal coffins dodging fire. 3 pods were hit and destroyed. 37 made it. They slammed into the Ravager command ship's hull and burned through. Hyun-woo was first in. Ravagers were waiting. He fired his rifle, the recoil pushing him backward in 0G. Ravagers fell. More appeared. His troopers poured in behind him, and the corridor became a bloodbath. "Move forward! Clear and secure!" They fought through the ship like they were born to it, room by room, corridor by corridor. The Ravagers were tough, but humans were tougher and angrier. Every trooper had seen what Ravagers did to colonies. Every trooper knew what was happening on Nexus 7. Hyunwoo kicked down a door and found the command center. Ravager officers turned, surprised. He threw a grenade and dove back. The explosion shook the ship. When he entered, the command center was chaos. His troopers secured it in minutes. Hyunwoo looked at the alien computers, couldn't read them, didn't care. He planted demolition charges everywhere. "All units, extract! We're blowing this thing!" They ran back through the corridors, fighting the whole way. Some troopers didn't make it. Hyunwoo carried a wounded soldier on his back, firing one-handed, refusing to leave anyone behind. They reached the breach pods with seconds to spare. Launched. The charges detonated. The Ravager command ship broke apart from the inside. Without coordination, the Ravager fleet faltered. Their formation collapsed. Ships started making independent decisions, bad decisions. The human fleet pressed the advantage. Nari and her squadron hit them from above and below, targeting engines, weapons, anything vital. Earth's capital ships hammered them with weapons the Alliance didn't even know existed. Railguns that fired projectiles at relativistic speeds. Plasma lances that cut through armor like paper. Missiles that could think and adapt. The Ravagers started to break. Dong-Yun saw it on his display. The enemy fleet was collapsing, but so was his. He'd lost 15 ships now, nearly half his fleet. The survivors were running on emergency power, damaged, barely holding together, and the Ravagers still outnumbered them. But something changed. Something shifted. The Ravagers, these ancient terrors that had destroyed 1,000 civilizations, started to retreat. They'd never faced anything like humanity before. They'd never faced an enemy that fought with such fury, such determination, such absolute refusal to yield. They'd never met warriors who would ram ships at light speed, who would board capital vessels for suicide missions, who would fly impossible patterns and break every rule of warfare. They'd never faced Earth. "Sir, the Ravagers are withdrawing!" someone shouted. Dong-Yun activated all frequencies. His voice reached every Ravager ship, every colonist on Nexus 7, everyone listening. "Ravagers, hear me! Leave now! Leave this system and never return, or learn why the galaxy will learn to fear humanity." The Ravager fleet jumped to FTL and vanished. Silence fell across the battlefield. Then, from below, a sound. Cheering, screaming, crying. The colony was saved. Dong-Yun sat down heavily. They'd won. Against impossible odds, they'd actually won. But the price? He looked at his casualty reports. 8,000 dead, 15 ships destroyed, thousands wounded. "Open a channel to the colony," he said quietly. Ji-hoon's face appeared on screen, covered in dust and blood, alive. "You came," Ji-hoon said simply. "We told you someone would," Dong-Yun replied. 3 days after the battle, Ji-hoon stood in what used to be the Eastern Dome and watched Earth's engineers rebuild. They worked fast, efficient, professional. These weren't colonists anymore. These were soldiers in engineer uniforms, and they'd turned Nexus 7 into a fortress. "Impressive, isn't it?" Ji-hoon turned. Admiral Dong-Yun stood behind him, looking older than he had on the view screen. The battle had aged him, carved lines in his face that hadn't been there before. "You lost a lot of people saving us," Ji-hoon said quietly. 8,214, Dong-Yun said. He didn't have to check a report. He knew the number by heart. "Every name, every face. I'll carry them the rest of my life. I'm sorry." "Don't be," Dong-Yun said. "They died doing what humans do, protecting each other. They died heroes." He looked at the reconstruction. "We're not leaving, you know. Earth is building a permanent defensive station here. Nexus 7 will be one of the most protected colonies in the galaxy within a month. The Alliance won't like that. Dong-Yun smiled, but it wasn't a happy smile. The Alliance is learning that what they like and what happens are two different things now. In the medical bay, Yuna worked alongside a human military doctor named Jiwon. They'd been operating non-stop since the fleet arrived, saving whoever could be saved. Human and alien, soldier and civilian, it didn't matter. Life was life. "How many did we lose?" Yuna asked, not looking up from her patient. "On the colony? About 2,000, Jiwon said. "Could have been all 4,000 if the fleet hadn't arrived." "And how many of the fleet?" Jiwon was quiet for a moment. "More than I want to count. The Dancing Blade alone had 90 crew. Captain Sujin's sacrifice saved the whole fleet." Yuna had heard that story already. It was spreading through the colony like wildfire. The captain who rammed a battleship, the drop troopers who boarded a command ship, the fighter pilots who flew impossible patterns. Angels of war, people were calling them. "Is it true," Yuna asked, "that Earth has been preparing for this? That we've been building weapons in secret while the Alliance thought we were peaceful?" Jiwon smiled grimly. "Humanity learned a long time ago that peace is wonderful, but you can't have peace without the ability to fight. We joined the Alliance. We followed their rules. We became good citizens. But we never forgot our history. We never stopped being ready." 3 hours later, Yuna found Subin in the communications center. She was alive, barely. The debris had crushed her leg badly, but Jiwon had saved it. Subin was crying as she listened to transmissions. "What's wrong?" Yuna asked. Subin turned up the volume. It was a news broadcast from the Alliance Central Worlds. "Unprecedented action by Earth's military forces has sent shockwaves through the gathering Alliance. The human fleet's victory over Ravager forces at Nexus 7 colony has forced a re-evaluation of humanity's military capabilities. Alliance military analysts are calling it the most significant tactical victory in recent history." Another channel. "Human casualties number over 8,000, but sources confirm the Ravagers lost 47 ships destroyed and 33 damaged. The Ravagers have not suffered such losses in recorded history." Another. "Alliance species are requesting defense pacts with Earth. The Council is in emergency session to discuss humanity's role in galactic security." "They're acting like we're dangerous," Subin said. "Like we're a threat." "We are," Yuna said. "We just proved it. We're dangerous to anyone who threatens innocent people." On the bridge of the Indomitable, now in orbit as a temporary command center, Dong-Yun met with the Alliance ambassador. The alien was tall, covered in feathers, and clearly nervous. "Admiral, the Council wishes to express gratitude for your actions at Nexus 7, the ambassador said carefully. "Gratitude," Dong-Yun repeated flatly. "Your fleet was 6 days away. You wrote off 4,000 lives because it was inconvenient to save them. We made a tactical decision based on available resources. You made a decision that humanity will never make," Dong-Yun interrupted. "We don't abandon people because it's inconvenient. We don't calculate whether lives are worth saving. We just save them." The ambassador shifted uncomfortably. "The Council is concerned about Earth's military expansion. Your experimental drives, your weapons technology, your aggressive tactics. Are you here to thank us or threaten us?" Dong-Yun asked. "Neither. Both." The ambassador looked frustrated. "Admiral, you must understand. The Alliance has maintained peace for 300 years through cooperation and diplomacy. What you did, attacking a superior force, using untested technology, accepting massive casualties, it goes against everything we believe. And because we did those things, 4,000 people are alive who should be dead," Dong-Yun said. "I'll take that trade every time." 2 weeks later, Earth's diplomatic ship arrived carrying Ambassador Minji. She was younger than the alien ambassadors expected, sharper, and completely unimpressed by their political games. The Alliance Council met in their grand chamber. Representatives from 100 species gathered to discuss the human question. Humanity has demonstrated dangerous military capabilities, one ambassador said. They must agree to limits, to oversight, to Alliance control of their weapons. No, Minji said simply. The chamber went silent. No, the speaker repeated. Ambassador, you cannot simply— I can and I did, Minji said. She stood, her voice carrying through the chamber. For 60 years, Earth joined your alliance in good faith. We followed your rules. We trusted your protection. And when our people needed help, you wrote them off. You told them no help would arrive. She pulled up a hologram. The Battle of Nexus 7 played for everyone to see. Ships exploding, humans dying, the Dancing Blade's final run. This is what humanity did while you debated logistics, Minji said. We lost 8,000 people saving 4,000. That math makes no sense to you. It makes perfect sense to us. Another ambassador spoke up. We understand you're upset, but you must see reason. Uncontrolled military expansion threatens galactic peace. Peace for who? Minji demanded. The Ravagers have been attacking colonies for centuries. How many did you save? How many times did your fleets arrive in time? No answer. Humanity isn't interested in conquest, Minji continued. We're not interested in dominating the galaxy, but we are absolutely interested in protecting people who can't protect themselves. And if that makes you uncomfortable, that's your problem, not ours. What exactly are you proposing? The speaker asked. Earth will continue building defensive stations across frontier space, Minji said. We will respond to distress calls from any colony, any species, any time. We're not asking permission. We're informing you. And if the Alliance opposes this? Minji smiled. It wasn't a warm smile. Then oppose it. See how that works out for you when the next Ravager fleet attacks and humans are the only ones willing to fight. The chamber erupted in argument. Some species supported Earth. Many had colonies on the frontier and liked the idea of human protection. Others feared human power, worried about what came next. Minji let them argue. Earth had already made its decision. Back on Nexus 7, Hana walked through the rebuilt colony. The eastern dome was complete, stronger than before. New defensive turrets dotted the landscape. A human warship, the frigate Vigilant, was permanently stationed in orbit. She found Ji-hoon at the memorial. They'd built it in the central plaza, a stone wall with names. 2,000 colonists who died in the attack. 8,214 human soldiers who died saving them. You're really leaving? Ji-hoon asked. He knew the answer. Hana had told him 3 times. I'm joining Earth's military academy, Hana said. After what I saw, how could I not? Those people died for us. I want to be someone who would do the same. You could have died here. You almost did. Most people would want to get as far from danger as possible. Hana touched the memorial wall, feeling the carved names under her fingers. I wanted to see Earth, remember? To feel real rain. Now I'm going to protect the people who make that possible. She wasn't alone. Across the galaxy, recruitment for Earth's military had increased 500%. Young humans who had grown up in peace now wanted to learn to fight, not for conquest, for protection. Ji-hoon watched her go, feeling proud and sad at the same time. The galaxy had changed. Humanity had changed it. 3 months later, the first human defensive station became operational above a colony world called Haven's Rest. It bristled with weapons, housed 3,000 soldiers, and had enough firepower to take on a small fleet. The dedication ceremony was attended by representatives from a dozen species. Admiral Dong-yun gave the speech, standing beside a memorial wall that listed every human who had died at Nexus 7. We build this station not as a threat, he said, but as a promise that what happened at Nexus 7 will never happen again, that no colony will wait in darkness, hoping for help that never comes, that when someone calls for aid, humanity will answer. He looked at the gathered crowd, human and alien together. "The galaxy thought we were soft," he continued. "Thought 60 years of peace had made us weak. They were wrong. Peace didn't make us weak. It reminded us what we were fighting for." He gestured to the stars above. "There are threats out there. The Ravagers and worse. The Alliance wants to ignore them. Hope they go away. Humanity won't. We'll stand guard. We'll watch the darkness. And when it comes, we'll fight." The station powered up fully, its weapons and shields humming to life. Above it, a banner unfurled, visible from the colony below. "No one left behind!" In the years that followed, more stations were built. More human fleets patrolled the frontier. Attacks on colonies dropped by 90%. The Ravagers, who had terrorized the galaxy for millennia, stopped coming to systems with human protection. The Alliance eventually accepted the reality. Humanity had become the galaxy's guardians, not because they wanted power, but because someone had to do it. And Earth had learned long ago that if you want something done right, you do it yourself. On Nexus 7, now a thriving colony under the shadow of Earth's protection, Jaihun stood in the rain. Real rain, falling from clouds seeded by human terraforming equipment. He thought about Hana, now a lieutenant on a defensive station somewhere. He thought about the 15 humans who had waited for help that shouldn't have come. But it did come. Like angels descending from heaven, burning with fury, humanity's forces had come, and the galaxy would never forget. Above the colony, the Vigilant kept watch. Its crew rotated every 6 months, but the mission never changed. Protect the colony, protect the innocent, never leave anyone behind. It was the most human thing possible, and it was enough.